Welcome to French Grammar Lessons number 3 by myself, Mr. Crucides. This one's about the future tense. So, as with all tenses, it really is a waste of time trying to learn a tense in a foreign language if you don't really have a basic understanding of tenses in English. So the future tense in English, or this future tense I'm going to teach you, the key is it's the words going to. So I am going to do whatever. I am going to play football. He is going to eat some pizza. They are going to go home at 10 o'clock. So it's the key word going to. There is another future tense which uses the word will in English. I will play, but that's a different future tense, and we're not going to study that one today because it's a bit more complicated. So today's it's the going to future tense. The formation of this going to future tense in French is very, very straightforward, and it's very similar to English when you break it down. It is easy, in my opinion. So first of all, you need the subject. So the subject of the sentence could be je, could be nous, could be anything. Could be I, you, he, she, it, we, you, they, Steve, Gary, Bob, my parents, the car, the tortoise. Could be whatever. But a subject, every verb needs a subject. It's unlikely you're going to forget the subject. Secondly, you need part of the verb aller. Now, if you've seen my video on the present tense, hopefully you've learnt that aller is the verb to go. So we're going to use the part of the verb aller, the present tense of the verb aller, and then we're going to be following it up with an infinitive. And if you see my lesson on the infinitive, then hopefully you understand what an infinitive is. Quick recap, it's the dictionary form of a verb, and in English it means to play, to go, to whatever. So the verb with the word to in front of it. So it's the same as English as I said before. So I am going to play. Let's say that's the verb phrase we want to translate. So the French for I is the pronoun je. Je vais means that's the je vais is well, I don't want to confuse you by saying it's the present tense, but it is the present tense. Je vais is the present tense. It means I go and I am going. But when we use the present tense of the verb to go followed by an infinitive, we make a future tense. So je vais on its own, I go, I am going to the supermarket is now, that's the present tense. But as soon as you put a verb after it, I am going to play, that indicates a notion that something's happening in the future, and that's how we make the future tense both in French and English. So I am going followed by an infinitive, to play. The French for I am going is je vais, and then the infinitive to play is jouer. So just remember, I think my explanation there was perhaps a little bit over complicated. Very, very simple, really. Je vais followed by an infinitive. I am going to whatever. Je vais manger. I'm going to eat. Je vais jouer. I'm going to play. There we go. Just a quick recap on an infinitive. As I said before, it's a dictionary form of the verb, and there are 3 groups of verbs. You recognise the verb groups by the infinitive endings. There's a group of verbs end in er, so jouer to eat, manger to eat. Sorry, jouer to play, manger to eat. Re verbs like vendre to sell, and ir verbs like finir to finish. And the infinitive in English is the verb with the word to in front of it, like jouer to play. Okay, so you need to learn the present tense of the verb aller. Je vais, tu vas, il va, elle va, on va, nous allons, vous allez, ils vont, elles vont. Learn the verb in this order. It also can be translated not only as I am going, but also I go, you go, he goes, she goes, etc. But for the future tense, it's better to think of it as I am going. Okay, so memorize that verb. Memorize it in the correct order as well. So here's some future tense phrases in action. So maybe just press pause before I reveal the answers. Just remember the difference between tu and vous in some of those is both translated as you, but tu is you singular and vous is you plural, and nous and on both mean we. On literally means one, so on va danser could be translated as one is going to dance, but doesn't really sound like good English to me. The better way to translate it is using we are going to dance. Okay, here's some more. Again, why don't you just grab a piece of paper and a pen and scribble down the French for the following. I've tried to use verbs which I think you should know, like the verb to listen, écouter. So hopefully this is quite easy. It is so easy this. If you've got a dictionary handy, all you have to do is pull the infinitive straight out of the dictionary. Remember, subject, part of the verb aller, then the infinitive. The infinitive is the easy bit. Either you know it or you can find it in the dictionary. So press pause and I'll reveal the answers. Je vais écouter, je vais visiter, elle va faire, nous allons jouer ou on va jouer, ils vont faire, elle va habiter, ils vont gagner or elles vont gagner if it's a female group, elle va regarder, tu vas arriver, sorry that should have an R on the end as it's an infinitive of course, that's Microsoft just assuming I'm trying to write something in English there, vous allez jouer, il va acheter and nous allons or on va prendre. And hopefully you've noticed the deliberate mistake there, which is in the on va prendre it should be VA, not VAS. As I'm sure you know, VAS is the form of the verb aller if to was the subject. So apologies for the couple of little errors there. So a recap. To say that you or someone else is going to do something, use part of the verb aller with an infinitive. So this is going to, not will. So you need to learn the verb aller by heart. So je vais, tu vas, il va, nous allons, vous allez, ils vont, followed by an infinitive. Thank you.